So obviously the door was a big thing, and you had to get that. You're solving that problem for a lot of people. What are some of the other things that are big struggles for you that aren't for just an average person?
Yeah, I mean, I need help in pretty much every aspect of my life in one way or another. So, getting ready in the morning, making sure I can reach things. In school, it was getting stuff out of my backpack or, opening doors, which hopefully that's not a problem soon. Every little thing. There's different levels of need, and that varies, per person. But for me, like lifestyle, I try not to let it get in my way.
Yeah.
I like to do things that everybody else my age does.
Yeah.
I go out to bars, which blows people's minds. I don't understand that. I drink. I go out with friends to go see movies or, whatever. Like, we do normal people things.
Yeah.
It's not, we're not shut-ins. Like, we don't stay home and hide because we're afraid of what people might say about us. Like, that's not how I live my life at all. So, there's different adjustments. And, I was saying the other day to someone that I feel like being disabled has led to my entrepreneurship and my love for it. Having to be creative, having to problem solve on a whim, thinking one thing when you get somewhere and then seeing that it's not set up the way that you thought it would be and having to figure out how to make it work. That's entrepreneurship. That's, figuring it out on the go or problem solving or coming up with ideas. I mean, I think they're very closely tied to one another.
For sure.
100%.
For sure. And I like how those two things coincide so well.
Yeah.
We were talking about that on the phone the other day.
Yep.
Just like, it's like you were forced to be an entrepreneur from birth, and you tackle everything from a different angle, but it's an angle that a lot of other people come in at as well. And so for you to be able to solve their problems and needs for them, you can capitalize on that.
Absolutely.
So many people, well, probably nobody watching this does, but you have a brother who has the same thing, the same disease as you. So what are the odds of that?
It's very rare. It's like 1 in 100,000.
Okay.
So it is a genetic condition.
Yep.
It's called spinal muscular atrophy. There's a bunch of different types. We have type 2, the both of us. So the odds of having a sibling set with both presenting with it is very
Are you younger
rare.
or older?
I'm older.
Okay, you're older than him.
Yeah, I'm older.
So that it's so unique, I feel like, to have two people and only two that both have the same disease. So what different struggles does that come with having both you and your brother like that?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, especially people that know us, do direct comparisons, right? And, we are out in public all the time, and everybody's like, oh, are you guys twins? Or, are you guys, whatever. And we're not twins. We're almost 2 years apart. And, making assumptions like that just because we're both in a wheelchair don't work. Like, I mean, my brother, like, he's a redhead. Am I a redhead? No. I wish I was, but I'm not. So just like, making assumptions like that just don't fly. So that, and then also like the family and, making adjustments for both schedules, making sure we both are where we need to go at the same time. There's adjustments, but it's time management and, making sure that we get everything done in a day that we need to.
Yeah.
Again, that's business right there.
Yeah, staying up till
midnight.
You
were literally born for business.
So we talked about a lot. We went through your lifestyle. We've talked about the business. Let's talk a little bit about your spinal muscular atrophy. So when were you diagnosed with it? How old were you when you knew you had it?
Yeah, so I was about 18 months old when I got the official diagnosis. The process started a few months prior to that, probably right around a year. I was missing certain mile markers that children hit. So whether it's, pulling to stand up or crawling or, just having the toned pieces that babies do, I was lacking all of that. So that was kind of the signal.
But there was no signs at birth. So
there was no signs at birth.
Got it.
It didn't really start till about a year. So at that point, the doctors were like, you need to go see a neurologist. You need to go get tested for different, possibilities.
Okay.
And that's when it came back with the positive for SMA.
So I know kind of what it entails, but for people who don't, what specifically does it mean?
Yeah, so without getting all scientific, it basically just weakens your muscles. So atrophy, right?
Yep.
It's weak muscles or weakening muscles. So it is a progressive neuromuscular condition. There are treatments out now for it. I actually just started one about 1.5 to 2 years ago. So it's, supposedly meant to stop the progression. So
Interesting.
I've definitely seen that. I've seen some improvements, which is always, a bonus.
Yep.
So it's been helpful. But it's definitely an area that still needs more work as far as research and, potential cures.
Got it. So what this is doing is more just slowing it down or stopping it.
Right.
It's not necessarily changing anything, make a cure, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a cure. There's supposed to be potentially some other drugs that might be coming out over the next couple of years that would be a combination therapy. So by combining them, hopefully it would alleviate most of the symptoms and get me back to, what an average person might be for someone my age.
Got it. So do you and your brother, is it both kind of like the same pace of what's going on? Or are you guys completely different? Does it work different?
So with any disease, it's going to vary per person.
Yeah.
You're never going to get the same thing. So I would say that we're both pretty stable at this point as far as, any severe deterioration, or, any major complications or anything. When we were children, there were a lot more complications just because we were trying to figure out what worked. So once we got that down, we were good.
Yeah.
And we've kind of leveled out over the last couple years.
Yeah. Well, I think what you've done so far is amazing because, like you said, most people who get in a wheelchair, it's like business. You gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
And you've done a damn good job at figuring it out
Thank
so
you.
far.
Yeah.
So